Hello viewers, I welcome you all to my own YouTube channel. Today we are discussing group 14 elements. This is the class 3. Okay, we will discuss here silicon, tin and maybe lead. Okay, I will not make the video lengthy, so we will discuss about silicon and tin. Okay, if possible then lead will also be discussed. Now at first we have to know what are the procedure to produce silicon. Actually, silicon is the second most abundant element. Okay, with oxygen, it produces 75% of the earth crust. Okay, so silicon generally is not found in the native state. As we have seen that carbon can be found in the native state, but silicon can never be found in the native state. Okay, so silicon may be found in the form of silica, SiO2. Okay, now we have to know the extraction process of pure silicon from different kinds of compounds. So we are going through some preparations here. As an example, SiO2 in presence of magnesium, this will produce silicon plus MgO. Now pure silicon can be produced by the decomposition of silane, SiH4. Whenever you give heat, SiH4, this will produce silicon plus hydrogen. Okay, this is the ultra pure silicon, generally used in the production of semiconductors. Okay, so by the heat decomposition of silane, we can produce ultra pure silicon. Okay, now silicon can also be prepared in some different ways, such as SiH4, silane plus Cl2, this will give silicon plus HCl. Okay, fine. Next preparation we can see here, silicon can also be prepared by the reaction of SiO2 with carbon. Now what happens, SiO2 plus carbon, this can form Si plus CO. Here you should give iron dust as a catalyst. Okay, because SiO2 plus carbon has the tendency to form silicon carbide. Okay, so to prevent the preparation of silicon carbide, we can here give iron dust as a catalyst to prepare silicon. Okay, now silicon can show two allotropic form. It can exist in two forms. One is crystalline, another is amorphous. Okay, the crystalline form is highly pure. When this amorphous form is heated and melted, then again condensed, it can produce silicon crystalline. Okay. Okay. Silicon generally react with sodium hydroxide easily. Sodium silicate plus H2. Okay. And it can also react with fluorine. It actually burns in fluorine and produces. Okay. Now these are the simple properties of silicon. Actually, silicon is used in different industries. Actually, the most important use is in the preparation of silicon, in preparation of semiconductors. N-type and P-type semiconductors are formed by the use of silicon. Okay, so this is the use of silicon. Now we will see some compounds of silicon. We will start from silicone. Okay, what happens? Silicone is easily prepared from silicon halides such as SiCl4. Whenever you react RMgBr, what happens? This is RMgBr. Actually, RMgBr actually it is called Grignard reagent. Grignard reagent. Actually, RMG, not RMgBr. It is actually RMgX. Okay, RMgX means alkyl magnesium halide. Alkyl magnesium halide, actually this is known as a organometallic compound. This is organometallic compound. Okay, so organometallic compound means this means there is a direct bond from metal to organic group, that is metal carbon bond is necessary. Metal carbon bond is necessary. Actually, in the previous class we discussed about NiCO4, nickel tetracarbonyl. This is an organometallic compound. Okay, or RMgBr. R means alkyl group, that is the organic moiety. Mg is the metal and Br. So here is a direct bond between R and Mg. You can see another a classical example of organometallic, that is this is known as tetraethyl lead. Tetraethyl lead. The structure is like that, Pb. Okay, this is known as TEL, tetraethyl lead. Actually, this TEL, it was used as an anti-knocking compounds in the engines. Okay, actually it would reduce the knocking. Okay, but actually when lead is burnt in the internal combustion engines, it will produce some non-eco-friendly products. Now what happens? Nowadays, instead of TEL, this one is used. This is known as ferrocene. This is known as ferrocene. So I have given you a simple, actually this is not, actually this is ferrocene, and the substance used, that is like that. Okay, this is known as DPPF, diphenyl phosphine ferrocene. So I have given a fundamental idea of organometallic compounds. Okay, now we are going to our main topic, that is the silicone. So silicone can be prepared like SiCl4 plus RMGBr. What happens? One Cl group is replaced by R. Okay, so R SiCl3 will be formed. Again, we give RMGBr. Okay, then it will form R2 SiCl2. Okay, now you can again you can give RMGBr. This can produce R3 SiCl. Now, whenever these compounds are formed, whenever you give water and do the hydrolysis, actually what is formed, you can see here, R SiCl3 plus H2O. This will produce R Si OH OH OH. Okay, all the chlorine atoms are replaced by OH groups. Okay, now if you see R2 SiCl2 plus water, this will produce R Si R OH OH. Okay, okay, all the halogen atoms are replaced by water. Now what happens, these structures does not exhibit in the monomeric form. This can form polymeric structure. Now you can see the polymeric structure of these ones. R Si R OH OH. Again we are writing here OH R, sorry, OH Si R OH. Again here writing Si OH R R OH Si OH R R OH. Actually, I have taken here R2 SiOH whole 2 4 molecules. Okay, 4 R2 SiOH whole 2 molecules are taken. Now you can heat the compound and water will be eliminated. Water will be eliminated. H2O. This one is H2O. Now here H2O. Now here H2O will be eliminated here or condensed. So the structure will become Si R R O Si R R O Si R R O Si O R R. Okay, this is known as silicone. Okay, silicone. We can form a large number of structures also, such as you can see here. You can see here. Suppose you can SiCl4, okay, plus RMgCl or RMgBr. You can produce R SiCl3. Okay, now you give water to it. This will produce R SiOH whole 3. Now you can do the polymerization. R SiOH OH OH. You can do this one like OH Si OH R OH. Here you can also eliminate water, and in this direction you can also do the same reaction. In this direction, in the lower direction, you can also do the same reaction to produce a large silicone. Silicones are actually known as organosilanes. Okay, actually these silicones has a large number of use in the industry. Actually, silicones can be used as a water repellent. It can also be used as in the vacuum pumps. It can also be used to make the soles of the shoes of astronauts. It can also be used to produce body implants for plastic surgery. It can also be used uh, to produce water repellent products. Okay, actually silicone is generally inert to the uh, some chemicals. Okay, those who are harmful for our skin or etc. So silicone can be used as a water repellent, and it is generally inert, and it can also be used in the plastic surgery. So polythene cannot be used in the plastic surgery because it will undergo the reaction with water easily. That's why silicones are used in the plastic surgery. That's why, because silicone will not react with water and will not get hydrolyzed. Okay, so these are the uses of silicone. So we are going to the next part, that is known as the silicate. Okay, now we are seeing silicates. Actually silicates can be classified into two types: orthosilicate and another one is pyrosilicate. Okay, in case of orthosilicate, SiO4 4 minus, this is the orthosilicate ion. Okay, what happens, you can see the structure of orthosilicate. Some very well known compounds are there, such as you can see zircon, ZrSiO4, this is zircon. Then you can also see phenacite. Phenacite, I think the formula is Be2SiO4. Okay, I think the formula is this one. Okay, so the structure will be like O minus, O minus, O minus, O minus, a tetrahedral in shape. Okay, this one is known as orthosilicate. Now in case of pyrosilicate, there is another example I want to share with you, that is wilmite. Okay, that is Zn2SiO4. Okay, okay, so these are some important important. Zircon is used as a substone. Okay, um, it is actually a white crystalline structure. Yeah, it has a white crystalline structure. Okay, now pyrosilicates can form different structure. Pyrosilicate can form different structure. Now you can see the structures here. As an example, this exists in polymeric form: SiO3 whole n twice n minus. Now what happens? What happens? There are different types of pyrosilicates are present. We can draw some structures here. Now see, okay, so different types of structures are possible also. We are seeing another example here. This one is silicon. Okay. Yeah. This one is the oxygen. Okay. Now, okay. So this one is another structure. We can see some star-like silicates also. As an example, okay, my drawing is very bad, I know. So let's draw the structure here. Okay, okay, okay. So okay, now giving the charges here, minus, 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 negative, 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 minus, minus, minus. Okay, this is the structure. Okay, so this is a star-like silicate. Actually, we can do the two-dimensional silicates also. Okay, so these are generally found in beryl. Okay, two-dimensional silicates can also be found Si2O5 n twice n minus. This can also form the two-dimensional silicates. So these are the silicates. Actually, different types of silicates are present. And there is a classical example of silicate which is most used, that is sodium silicate. Okay, we will discuss it later. So this is the silicate. So we have done silicones and silicates. Now a very important compound of silicon, that is silicon carbide. Actually SiC is produced by the reaction of SiO2 with anthracites, that is carbon. Okay, in a carbon core, SiO2 is heated by the two electrodes that are also made of carbon and produces SiC. Okay, silicon carbide. Okay, so the reaction is very simple. Actually, SiO2 plus carbon, this produces SiC plus CO as a byproduct. So Actually, SiC, silicon carbide, is inert and does not generally react with dilute acids and alkalis. Okay, so it will definitely react with, now you can see actually SiC is generally colorless, but commercially available samples can be greenish or yellowish. Okay, now generally silicon carbide undergo reaction with fused alkali, sodium hydroxide plus SiC. This will produce Na2SiO3 plus Na2CO3 plus water. Silicon carbide is very hard. However, the hardness is lower than diamond. Okay, so in the very high temperatures, in the very high temperature, in the electric arc, silicon carbide decomposes to produce silicon plus graphite. Okay, so this is the reaction. So silicon carbide is actually hard in nature. It is used as abrasives in the industry to cut down or to crush stones, woods, etc. So silicon carbide actually in the very high temperatures undergo decomposition to form silicon and graphite. Okay, as we seen in the previous video that graphite exists in two forms, alpha graphite and beta graphite. Okay, now this is the silicon carbide. Now actually we are going to the next compound of silicon, that is sodium silicate, Na2SiO3. Actually it can easily be prepared as an example of Na2CO3 plus silicon. This will produce Na2SiO3 plus this will produce carbon. Okay, now it can also be prepared as Si plus NaOH plus H2O. This will produce Na2SiO3 plus this will produce Na2SiO3 plus H2. Okay, okay, so this is the reaction or preparation of Na2SiO3. Actually Na2SiO3 in presence of some colored ions or complexes such as cobalt chloride or nickel compounds produces cylindrical, colorful tubes. These are known as silica gardens. Okay, okay, so this is the end of silicon. Here we are ending silicon here. So we have done the preparation of silicon, some properties of silicon, silicone and its uses, silicates, different types of silicates, orthosilicates and pyrosilicates, and then we have done sodium silicate and then silicon carbide. So this is the end of your silicon. Now we are going to know about tin. Okay. Okay. Tin or SN. Okay. Generally, tin is not found in the native state in the earth crust. SN is generally found in SnO2. This is known as tin stone or cassiterite. Okay. So SnO2. So now what happens? It SnO2 exists with FeWO4, that is it is known as iron tungstate. Actually it has a pet name also, wolframite. Okay. And TiO2 rutile, this one is known as rutile. Okay. Now what happens, as this is the ore of iron, SnO2 is first washed with cold water, then hot water. Okay. Now these impurities such as FeWO4 is removed by magnetic separation. Okay. Okay. TiO2 is also removed as magnetic separation. Okay. Now what happens? Now roasting is done. Then the ore is roasted in presence of air to remove the impurities such as sulfur and arsenic as SO2 and As2O3. Okay. Now the impurities are removed. Now what happens? Now smelting is done. Smelting at a high temperature, 1/5 anthracite, 1/5 of the mass, 1/5 of the mass of the total mixture, 1/5. Okay, at the high temperature, anthracite is mixed in the 1/5 portion of the total mass. Now reaction happens, SnO2 plus carbon, this will produce Sn plus CO2. Okay. Now this Sn is formed. Actually it is in the melted condition, molten condition. Now here pooling is done to reduce the oxides and greenwood pooling. This is also known as green wood pooling, and Sn is taken out. Okay. Actually this is the impure form. Actually this can further be purified. Now what happens? Tin exists three allotropic forms. One is gray tin, white tin, and rhombic tin. Okay. So white tin is converted into gray tin in cold countries. Okay, in cold countries, so the density becomes low. Density becomes low and volume increases, then this tin becomes brittle and becomes powder. Okay, now what happens? Produces this powder produces. Okay, now this is called, this procedure or phenomenon is called as tin plague or tin disease. Okay, this is known as tin plague or tin disease. What happens? White tin, whenever is transferred from white to gray tin in the cold countries, in the low temperatures, when the density becomes low and volume increases, the tin becomes brittle and it's break down in powder. Okay, this is known as tin cry or tin plague. Okay, so this is the preparation of tin actually. And tin disease, this is known as tin disease or tin plague. Now tin cry, when tin is bent, produces a special type of sound that is known as tin cry. Okay, so this is tin cry. Now we are going to some properties of tin actually. Okay, some properties of tin. Tin SN react with oxygen in the temperature of 1500 degrees centigrade to 1600 degrees centigrade to burn brilliantly or burn brilliantly to form SnO2. Okay, Sn plus O2, it will produce SnO2. Okay, it reacts with acids such as HCl, H2SO4 and HNO3. Now we can see some reactions. Sn plus HCl, this will produce SnCl2 plus, that is H2 will be liberated. Sn plus H2SO4, this will produce SnSO4 plus H2O. Okay, water is also added here. Sn plus H2SO4 concentrated SnSO4 plus SO2 plus H2O. HNO3, concentrated HNO3 when react with tin, it produces Sn plus HNO3 in concentrated form. This will produce H2 SnO3 plus H2O plus NO2. Okay, whenever you give cold or dilute HNO3, this will produce ammonium nitrate and stannous nitrate. Okay, now this is the a reaction of some acids with tin. Okay, now it also undergo reaction with sodium hydroxide, Sn plus NaOH. This will produce, okay, plus water you can give here, this will produce Na2 SnO3 plus H2. Okay, sodium stannate. Okay, now SnO whenever reacts with sodium hydroxide, this can produce Na2SnO2. Okay, plus H2O will be formed. This is known as sodium stannite. Okay, so this is sodium stannate, this is sodium stannite. Okay, okay. Likewise, you can see PbO plus NaOH also can form Na2 PbO2 plus H2O. This is also known as sodium plumbite. Okay, so these are the reaction of SN. Now we are going to see some important compounds of tin. One is SnCl2, stannous chloride. Okay, so the preparation is actually very easy. Sn plus HCl, this one will produce SnCl2 plus, that is H2 will be liberated, or you can see SnOH whole 2. Okay, plus you can give here HCl, this will produce SnCl2 plus H2O will be liberated. Actually SnCl2, okay, H2, SnCl2 is a reducing agent. It can reduce many chlorides into metals or lower metal chlorides. Now you can see an example here, HgCl2 plus SnCl2, this will produce Ag2Cl2 plus SnCl4. You can again do the reaction, Ag2Cl2 plus SnCl2, this will produce Hg plus you can produce SnCl4 as a product. Now this one is the reaction. Again you can see some reactions. Now FeCl3 plus SnCl2, this can produce FeCl2 plus SnCl4. Okay, Cu2Cl2, sorry, CuCl2 plus SnCl2, this will produce CuCl, cuprous chloride plus SnCl4. Okay, so these are the reactions. Actually SnCl2 is hydrolyzed. SnCl2, this will act as a very good reducing agent. Okay, reducing agent, because okay, you can see here in SnCl2 the oxidation number is Sn2 plus. Okay, so it can reduce any substance to get oxidized. It can reduce any substance to get oxidized into Sn plus 4. Okay, so it can act as a reducing agent, whereas SnCl4 is an oxidizing agent. You can see here SnCl4 is an oxidizing agent because here the oxidation number of Sn is plus 4, so it cannot reduce anyone. If it reduces any other substance, the oxidation number is increased. So this is not possible to produce higher oxidation state than plus 4. So it cannot act as a reducing agent, it can only act as an oxidizing agent. It oxidizes another substances to get reduced into Sn2 plus. So this is the oxidizing and reducing natures of stannous halides or tin halides, you can see. Now another example of SNO compound, SNO stannous oxide. Okay, this can easily be formed SNOH whole 2. Whenever you give heat, this will produce SNO. Okay, now this one can undergo a variety of reaction such as SNO plus NaOH. This can produce Na2 SnO2 plus H2O sodium stannite. Okay, now we can also know about SnO2 stannic oxide. You can see here two reactions, SNO plus HCl, SnCl2 plus H2O. Now SNO2 plus HCl, this will produce SnCl4 plus H2O. Okay, so up to this your tin is over. The video has become lengthy one, so we will discuss lead in the next video. Up to this your tin is over. You can see the video again and again to see some important properties of the elements and compounds, and stay tuned for the next video. Thank you for watching the video.